Hey, what's up guys? This is Born for PvM, and welcome to my remastered Book of Char guide. Now the reason I'm remaking this guide is because the first one I made was released only 2 days after the actual Book of Char came out, and though the technique used is the same, I didn't show the proper log spacing, and I also showed methods that shouldn't have been shown in the video. Also, it is the only popular Book of Char guide, and I feel that it could have been made a lot better. However, the old guide still has methods available to people who cannot access the method shown in this video, which is the Tarns Lair method. So if you do not have the requirements for this particular method, then you can always go watch the old guide. This particular method requires the following: access to Tarns Lair, which means you must have completed the Haunted Mine quest. Slayer rings, you can purchase the ability to make them if you've completed the Smoking Kills quest and you have the proper amount of Slayer points to buy the ability. Some prayer pots and some super energy pots for when you actually use the Book of Char. The Book of Char, which is obtained after completion of the Firemaker's Curse quest. Magic logs, about 250 or more just to be safe. The 10-minute, 12-minute, or 15-minute gravestone. Protect from melee or deflect from melee prayer. And real quickly, here's some background information about the Book of Char itself. The Book of Char is obtained after completion of the Firemaker's Curse quest. You can use the Book of Char once per day, and you can gain around 125k EXP if it's done correctly. It takes under 10 minutes to do the Book of Char run. Considering that you can get up to 125k EXP in under 10 minutes, that would calculate to around 800 to 900,000 Firemaking Exp per hour, depending how fast you are. Obviously, since you can only use it for once a day, it's obviously not that much EXP, but it would calculate to that, so yeah. Okay, so now you know the requirements for this particular method, and you also know some background information about the Book of Char itself. Let's go ahead and I will show you where to place the logs in Tarns Lair, because that's the most important part. And so let's go ahead and get your Ring of Slaying out of the bank. And also you're going to want 2 items that meet these 3 requirements. 1, they must be wieldable. 2, they must have low defensive stats. And 3, they must be worth more than the current GE price of a magic log. Ceremonial will always fit these 3 requirements, so go ahead and if you don't have that, you can buy 2 pieces of ceremonial. Also, most weapons will also meet the requirements. So yeah, just find items in your bank, only 2, that's all you need, because obviously you're going to keep these 3 items and the rest you're going to lose, which are going to be the 27 magic logs. Go ahead and take out 27, keep your Ring of Slaying in your inventory, and go ahead and teleport to Tarns Lair when you're ready. Okay, once you arrive at Tarns Lair, you want to go ahead and go straight north into this room, and that will be the Terror Dog room. This is where you're going to be dying. You're going to die a total of 9 times, and that will give you about 125k EXP if you do it correctly. Now, I'm going to flash a screenshot right now on screen, and what you're looking at is the exact order that you need to die with the logs. Now, the X's are obviously blank squares, and the log piles are obviously where you're going to be dying, so your logs will drop onto the floor there. And now, you want to space the logs out just as I have them in the screenshot. It doesn't really matter what order you die with them on. You can die left to right, right to left, middle to the other side. I mean, it doesn't really matter as long as you space them out as I show on the screenshot. Now back to the actual video. Here I'm praying melee against the dog so I can explain a few things to you. Let's go ahead and just die. Now it doesn't matter where your first death can be right here, and then you can do the spacing out however you please. It doesn't really matter. There's no exact spot to die on as long as you have them spaced properly. So once you die, go ahead and make sure you just left click once on the ring and it'll swap it with a log. Now you've got all your logs going to be dropping onto the floor, and then pick the respawn point closest to a bank. If you have Soul Wars, that is the best. It's right next to the bank. Now, as you can see right there, place your ceremonial back on. I prefer to keep the ring in the inventory though. And then go ahead and withdraw your magic logs once again. Teleport back to Tarns Lair. And that's it. Basically repeat and make sure you space the logs out as I had them in the screenshot. Okay, here's a few helpful tips. Overloads, unidentified liquids, nitroglycerin, or Zemrock brews can speed up deaths. You can run around to get more dogs to pile you until you're about to die, then get back to the proper death spot. Don't pick worlds with people slaying in them. If another person is doing the same thing in the same world as you, such as, if you're both doing the Book of Char method, then you can go to the very far north side of the Terror Dog room and do the same exact thing. As long as you use the proper spacing, it won't be any different. And you guys won't disturb each other, so 2 people can share the same world. Okay, and now for the final part of this guide, and now this is sped up 12x, and it's showing me doing all 9 deaths, and then doing the Book of Char method, the actual run itself, and sped up 4x. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a time code which is also sped up 12x, and so you'll see how long it actually took me in real time to do the entire 9 deaths. Now I'm not going to lie, I made a couple mistakes, and it could have been a lot quicker, maybe about 30 seconds to a full minute quicker. However, this is about the average time I do. So yeah, right about here is the last death. As you can tell, it's about 6 minutes and 30 seconds to do all the deaths. And the actual run itself, obviously it takes 2 minutes because that's how long the Book of Char lasts. Now make sure you have your super energy pots, your prayer potions, and maybe a backup brew. Also a teleport out would be helpful. I always forget those and it's really annoying. Anyways, yeah, just run back and forth over the log piles. And you want to go over the last log pile on each side, at least one square over, or else you won't actually pick it up with the Book of Char. If you turn like slightly before it or just on it, it won't actually pick it up and catch it on fire. And yeah, you won't get every log unless you're like a complete ninja, but you'll get most of them, and that's all that counts. This particular run took me 9 minutes to do, and I got 120k Firemaking Exp, which calculates to 800k EXP an hour about. So yeah, that's really good, and I hope I helped some people out, and thanks for watching.